What's going on, my friends? It is the Beard here, and today we are back once again in fishing the Barents Sea. That's right, my friends, we are back on the illustrious Barents Sea ocean, afloat in our virtual boats, and today we are going to do a quick tutorial on how to net fish with the VIBEK, CATHRIN. Okay, guys, we're going to get right down to this. Let's start out with the basics. If you are new to this boat, let me tell you, she is a very agile and nimble boat. It was a half-off sale, but nonetheless, she is fantastic. Now, I highly recommend first thing you do, if you have the money, is go ahead and do your upgrades. Do your storage upgrades first. First and foremost, that way you can catch more fish. I highly recommend in conjunction with that doing your engine upgrades. That 175 horsepower sure makes those kilometers tick by a whole lot faster, and that's how you're going to unlock the lunar bow and ultimately the Hermes. Radar, very, in my opinion, important part of the game. Not necessary, obviously. It's completely up to your discretion and depends how much money you have. The automatic gutting machine, I honestly believe that it is an essential part of this boat, and I highly recommend doing it. You can manually gut your fish. It will save you time, in fact, as well, but it's fantastic to use the gutting machine. Now, the net hauler, this is personal preference. Net hauling and long lining are very similar in the way that you approach it. It's just that the net haulers, you're going to get a little more fish, so there you go. I personally bought the freezer. I don't see a purpose in this. I'm going to be straight with you. If we had the ability to sleep on our boats, I could then see the purpose of purchasing the freezer. But let's face it, there's no point. We fill up so fast and we come in and it is what it is. So there we go, my friends. That's that in a nutshell. Second, you need to go to town, hire yourself a crew. It's done right here on this tab. Hire a crew, get your crew members. Without a crew, you're not going anywhere. Okay, let's head out to sea. Here we go. So, first things first, if you have bought the VIBEK, CATHRIN, and you have done all your upgrades, you will have side thrusters. That's this bar right here. Using the Z and the C key will adjust the thrusters. Pushing X will kill all thrust momentum, including your forward or reverse, so keep that in mind. So we'll go ahead and throw this on here, put the side thrust, get her going out. We don't need to do a whole lot here. This boat is very nimble. We're going to go ahead now and crank her into the forward position. We'll quickly hit the X just to cancel out the side thruster. There we go, and we'll crank it back up. And we are off and away on our beautiful voyage with the VIBEK, CATHRIN. So what we're going to do, guys, we're going to go out, drop a few lines, let them soak, and go and pick them up. We'll go through the steps real quick. This won't be a long one, so leave me to it, and we'll be right back. Okay, guys, so the first thing I'm going to assume that you know, but we'll touch on it loosely real quick, is the fish populations. Keeping your all species locked will always show you where the fish are at all times on your voyage. It'll help you plan your route. So here we are. We're going to go to the one closest to Hammerfest, and we're going to go ahead and get ready to drop our lines. We'll slow our speed down here so we're not going crazy fast and we don't damage our lines in the process. We'll get her down just below 4. We'll get our set gear out. I'm going to drop a big line here. We're going to put the 165 in. Go ahead and push that. And out she comes. Now, it's important that you watch this bar. Keep the bar centered as much as possible. We're pretty lucky here today. The waters are pretty calm. So it's making this tutorial look like a piece of cake. This does have its own challenges. Now, as you go, you can only get your speed going so much. And it is very dependent on what you're doing. But you can see it's ticking pretty good. We're almost at the 100 meters, coming up on it pretty soon. But if these lines, if this bar, I should say, does touch the side, whether it be left or right here on the slider, you will damage your net. So once a net has been damaged, you need to repair it before you can use it again. They only have so much durability. Of course, you run the risk of losing the net altogether, but you can always go and repair it. Okay, so we're about there. First line will be dropped here in just a moment, and there she goes. That's it. It's pretty straightforward. You may want to consider going around and dropping multiple lines. knowing the size of your lines and what you can use to fill your boat. I typically, before some of the recent patches, when I spent most of my time in this boat, I would do the 165 and a 75 in the same area. That would often fill it. Sometimes I would do a 120 if that's all I had. And if you fill it too much, you just end up losing some of it. Not really a big deal. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take ourselves into dock. It is pretty foggy here today. Holy. And I highly recommend, guys, just as a word of advice, follow this rule of thumb. If you are empty, motor on. If you're full, fast travel. The reason I say that is if you're empty, these boats, if you have all the upgrades, will absolutely cruise. Let me flip to this view. Look at this. So we're up at full steam. Let it settle in. You get around 11 knots, close to 11 knots out of it, depending on how the water's doing that day. I can't see a thing here. Holy. If you're full, you know, you're going to be doing between 4 and 6 knots, depending on how much room you have in your cargo hold. Maybe a little more. Again, it depends on the water. So you need to get those kilometers under your belt so you can unlock those boats. Well, Beard, I need the kilometers. I want the boats. I want those big, fancy, shiny things. I highly recommend you do that. If you're full, fast travel. If you're empty, motor on. Now, once you go ahead and get yourselves back into port and safely docked, we're going to go ahead and give this a big old swing. And we're going to throw our side thrusters on. Here we go. And this is going to pull us right into the dock. And that's fantastic. Just beautiful. Let her settle right in. Cut our thrusters. And look at that, me mateys. Yar, it's fantastic. Okay, so now we are in dock. We're going to go ahead to the skip time. Now, first, let me draw your attention. It took us an hour and a half to get all the way into port. This net, you want to let it soak, and you have to be careful. You can't pick it up under 4 hours. And if you let it sit too long, you will lose the net. So shoot for around the 20-hour mark. If it's just one net you're picking up, 20 hours is about perfect. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and fast forward our time. We're going to skip it by 24. We've got 1 hour, so we're going to skip it by about 18 hours. Okay. Now we check our map again. And this net is at 18 hours. So by the time we motor over there, it's going to be about ready to go. So let's do that. We'll go ahead and push off. Again, with the side thrusters. Go ahead and throw into forward. Get a little bit of a rotate going on here while we're at a slow speed. Treating it like a real boat for the win, baby. That's right. Give her a little more speed as we pull away. Always got to watch your weight. See, I got all the lights and everything on. You can turn your lights off. It really doesn't matter. However you want to play it. I like to go for the full immersion. I like to control all that stuff. But for the sake of this tutorial, we're just going to quickly get back to this. Okay, there we go. And we'll motor ourselves back out to sea. Okay, so we are coming up on our buoy now. You can see it just up here. And I wanted to show you guys, we were at the 22-hour mark. So I actually went a little further out and came in just to give it a little bit more of a soak. But as I say, shoot around that 20-hour mark. At least this is how it was as I've been playing the game. Now, I have been on the lunar bow for a while. I just had a lot of people asking me about this, so I thought we would do this tutorial. And so there we go. So we're going to fly into this now. Now, as we're approaching, we need to open our crew menu. Now, you got to disperse your guys accordingly. So this is my lead hand right here, followed by my other lead hand. And this is going to be the man that's going to work the stack. So I'll get him over there for now. That'll work out pretty well. As we approach this, we're going to get, let's get this here like so. We're going to get a little graphic that'll come up on the side. Now, you can see the other one way off in the distance here at the end of the line. I'll show you how this is done. You have to have a good approach or you won't be able to pick it up. So we're doing about 2.7 knots, 2.5 knots. It's not bad. We could definitely speed that up, but that'll do for now. Our net haul is in place. There is our graphic. You can see this arrow. That arrow has to be generally pointed towards the other one for it to line up properly. Once it comes in, they automatically haul it. And there it is, guys. Now, you can go ahead and you can watch what's going on here. You can also drive. So if you had another buoy marked, you would simply start traveling over towards it. As you can see that they are working on this right now. You can see it slowly moving up the graphic. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. It's now up to his nose. And it'll move up a little further. Once that's done, it's got to be gutted, and then it's got to be stacked. So this is our gutter right here. You can see he's pretty good at the gutting. He's not too bad, but he's a whole lot better. Okay, so we can't actually motor while they're pulling the line in. I misspoke there, my apologies. Now we can start motoring. And we'll put you on there, and you can help out with the gutting. Now, by the time we get ourselves back into port, these guys will be done. You see it filled up half. So if we had a 120 line, or even one of the smaller lines, we would get this boat mostly full. You'll see if you look at the colors, the off-blue color is a stacked fish, turquoise if you will. The yellow is a gutted fish, and then there is the fresh fish. So we'll get this all gutted, we'll get it in, we'll get stacked, and everything will be hunky-dory. So we're going to go ahead and start motoring into town. Now, if you fast travel now while they're working, everything will be all of the right. We will place our fast travel like so. We'll motor ourselves in here, and they should be done. And in fact, they are. So we'll bring them all over here. They've all had a good work for the day. We'll feed them a burger, because this will up their stamina. And we will carry on and go ahead and dock, and we'll sell our catch. And that's about it, my friends. I hope you've thoroughly enjoyed this. I hope it's been helpful. We have had a lot of people request a quick tutorial just to show how it's done. It does get a little more complicated when you are managing multiple pots. It becomes more of a time crisis management. It's a crisis because if you mess up, you lose a lot of money. So there we go. If you have enjoyed it, my friends, please do me a favor. Hit that like and subscribe button. Do it with 2 hands if you gotta. And that'll let you know what's going on here on the channel. And if you really want to get involved in things, come out for our live streams every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And every other Saturday we do a subscriber hunt in the Call of the Wild. But we also have our Discord channel where we all like to hang out and we all get to play games together. So consider coming and hanging out in there and come meet some great guys and gals. We really do have such a fantastic group in our gaming community. Always something going on. Okay, we're going to turn hard here. We're coming in a little hard, but we can make it. She's an agile boat, and we'll treat her like a real boat. And we're going to go ahead and drop our speed, hit our side thruster, continue to turn, hit the reverse to stop us. And there she is. Like a glove, baby. Like a glove. Go ahead and sell your fish. Get your reward. We made 239,000 krones. That is a good catch, and we weren't even full. There it is. Okay, my friends. Hope that's been helpful. If you want to see anything else, let me know in the comments section below, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you, my friends. Bye.